Martha Stewart. Oh my goodness, this is overwhelming. I am so deeply pleased to be here with you. You know, it's the holiday season. Happy holidays, everyone. I'm sure that if there's one place that all of us would love to be around now is your house. I can only imagine the beautiful decorations, the food, the smells, everything.
Well, you know, it's only a couple days since Thanksgiving, so I'm one of these people that I have to have Thanksgiving first, the pumpkins and all of that stuff. And today, actually yesterday, we started with the trees, and so there. And we're doing a shoot on Friday. A shoot is the cameras are coming from California, and we have to do an ad for the Olympics. So so Snoop and I are going to report
Of course.
in Milan, and they want to do it. They want to do an ad for it, and so I'm doing something in my big dining room, and we're decorating that. And I was on the phone the whole ride up here, giving instructions.
Now, I imagine
You would not want to be at my house today.
you have friends and family of shoots going on. Snoop's coming by. Probably Chef Jose Andres is texting you with things. All these people that say that you're their bestie. Is there a competition in that space now?
Oh no. I mean, I don't see Snoop unless we do a job together. Usually, we text. Sometimes, recently he actually called me. You know, he lives in California, so he wanted me to meet somebody. It was 4 o'clock in the morning my time.
Oh my gosh.
It's 1 o'clock his time, which is daytime for him.
Right.
And I'm in bed with who knows what I looked like. I refused to answer FaceTime at 4 o'clock in the morning, and I just sort of ignored the call.
Okay,
I texted, said I'm otherwise
Yes.
occupied.
There are a lot of things going on right now, a lot of things to celebrate. You just did a re-release of your very first book, which is incredible. It's almost to the day 43 years, I think,
It is
right?
43
December.
years old, the entertaining book. And the reason that we republished it in a facsimile edition is because we did a documentary last year. And in the documentary, we talk a lot about the first book and the impact it made on American life, because it was like the first book that really addressed home entertaining that way. And so kids, younger people, the younger generation, say from maybe 35 down. To me, that's the younger generation. Some of you might feel old at 35, but believe me, you're young. They wanted the book, and so if you go on eBay or one of those places, the book's $400, $500 for a first edition. So we republished it, so now you can have it for the original price.
Now, I know also, yes, that definitely deserves a round of applause. You recently met someone who had every single one of your 100 books.
Oh, yes.
What was that like?
Oh, well, they should. Everybody should have. No, there are Uber fans out there who collect, and I had a very interesting day this summer. The most Uber of the fans, his name is Andrew Ritchie, and he lives in Canada, and he works for Anthropology. But he started, when I first wrote my first book, Entertaining, he started a thing called Martha Moments, and he follows me. I mean, at first I thought he was a stalker, and we were a little afraid of him in the beginning because he knew everything. And then I got to know him personally, and he's a very, very intelligent, artistic guy, and he has a lot of friends, and they started a fan club. And I didn't know anything about fan clubs, and now we have this very excellent fan club. There's a guy called Bernie Wong Green. He collects everything green, so everything I've ever made that's green,
Wow.
he has in
That's
multiples.
a lot.
Yeah, and so I invited them. I said, if 40 of you want to come to my house, I will treat you to a real day of Martha. So they all came to Bedford this summer, and we had, I think, one of the nicest days I've ever had in my life with 40 people who collectively know every word I ever wrote, every picture I've ever taken. No, and it was interesting because they're knowledgeable, and they are also they live the life, and it was so nice. It was the nicest day.
Now, that kind of reminds me of,
Don't get any ideas.
This is the kind of stalker you'd want to have. So they probably flipped out when they saw you on the cover of Sports Illustrated.
Oh, yes.
Which was, and actually you were on the cover in 2023. you were asked in 2022. When you first got that request, what were you thinking?
Well, it was in December, I think it was December of 2023 when Sports Illustrated editors called and said, oh, how would you like to pose for the swimsuit issue? And I thought, and then I could swim, but I didn't know what I was going to look like in the bathing suit. So I had exactly 2 months to get ready. And I went to the gym like a couple hours every day.
Your Pilates, I know.
And I got waxed and tanned and several times in those couple months before, and then flew down to Casa de Campo in the Dominican Republic to a friend's house. We arranged it so it was very comfortable, and had to try on like 80 bathing suits in front of people. It's embarrassing, but they turned out okay. The pictures turned out okay, and we got like a few billion impressions, views, and that was worth it because I think a woman of 8, I think I was 81 at the time or 82. That's good for a woman of 82,
Amazing.
and it gave other women just like permission to put on the goddamn bathing suit and show yourself off if you look great.
Now, that was actually one of 2 times.
Don't
on the
hide
cover,
under
right?
those tutus and those muumuus and those caftans,
You actually were also in sort of a tribute issue. So actually, you were on.
Yeah, twice. Yeah, the next year they had a lot of the former models.
Yeah.
And it's fun. It's fun to see everybody like that.
So it's no surprise then that you have a new skincare line. It's called
Science.
Elmo Bioscience.
Elm
Bioscience.
Elmo's a character on
That's a different character. But I was listening to your podcast, and you were talking to some of the dermatologists that were part of this project. And I think that over 350 dermatologists were involved in this?
Yeah, well, now almost 600 are involved. And we started, I'm working with a doctor, a young Indian doctor called Dhaval Banusali. And he is a dermatologist. He is a scar expert. That's what first attracted me to him. He takes care of seriously burned or damaged children, and he can rebuild their faces. He's an amazing, and he saves people's lives by helping them. And he's a terribly generous and terribly nice and intelligent and very proficient dermatologist. And so we were talking about skin, and I'm very interested in skincare. I've always been. I've tried every product there is out there. And I said, what could we do? Could we possibly make something that's more revolutionary?
Right.
So we've come up with our first product, the serum. It's called Elm. And we're coming out with our night cream in January 13th. And we've already reached our first financial goals in 3 months. We're doing well. So if any of you are interested in maintaining your skin in the best possible way, look up Elm Bioscience.
Elm Bioscience.
I'm giving it a big plug because I really believe in it. And my daughter, who is the toughest character on earth, she actually is addicted to it now. She loves it. And if it passes the Alexis test, it will pass anybody's test for
You had spent something
efficacy.
like over 5 years on this.
Yeah, with 5 years we've been working on the formulas, and it includes new molecules, new combinations of natural ingredients. So I'm a living proof of it.
Definitely. I think you are very well known for also saying that you think that entrepreneurship is not just a job, it really is a mindset. Can you talk a little bit about what you mean by that?
Well, I think you're born an entrepreneur. You can become an entrepreneur if you're not born one, but it takes a tremendous amount of work, a tremendous amount of passion, and it's mostly the work.
Yeah.
I think you don't realize when you come up with a good idea that how much work it will take to make that idea happen, but a real entrepreneur sort of like just dilly-dallies along and gets it done, and that's what's happened to me. It just was really, really wonderful when I wrote my first book, that I got the first book written right in the right way, and then was able to write a book a year after that. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of creating an atmosphere for yourself where you can work within that atmosphere with a family, with a child, with the pets, with the house to take care of, and all the other stuff. So for all women who have dreams of starting something, just be prepared to put in the hours. You know, sleep is unnecessary.
Sleep is unnecessary. That's incredible.
Don't listen to your doctor who says you have to sleep more. Just as that sleep is the last thing that you have to worry about.
I was listening to a story that you were telling that when you were growing up with your 5 siblings in Nutley, New Jersey, that you would be the first one to get up before everyone else because you wanted to take the shower first so that you wouldn't have to
we only
step
had one
into-
bathroom and there were 8 of us in the house.
Right.
One
But you
bathroom.
had to be first, right? Because you didn't want to step into a wet kind of icky
No, I
feeling.
did not. I did not. But then I was very careful. I used my bath towel to dry the bathtub and the walls, which I still do religiously. I will not leave a wet shower.
But so early
Do you
on,
do that?
bad.
Do you wipe down your shower after you take it?
What's that?
Do you wipe down your shower after you take a shower in the
Do I wipe it? I admittedly don't. Is
You
that
don't?
gross? Am I no
Horrible.
longer? I should be thrown out now, right? How many of us here wipe down the shower after we take a shower? Is that most?
I hope so.
Okay,
not that
I don't
many.
feel
My
too
God.
bad. But maybe I need to start now.
I think I really have to write down how to take care of your house book.
I mean, it definitely would help prevent mildew. That's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, mildew does not exist in my house.
But I think from such an early age, it really speaks to the industriousness and the diligence that you had.
Thank you.
Where did that come from? Was it
Well,
from Big Martha, your mother?
Yes, my mother was so strict and in the nicest possible way, and all her children were equally fabulous, by the way. That was the nicest thing about my mom, there was no favorites. My dad had favorites.
Really?
Yeah. But my mom had no favorites. Up until the time she died at 94 years old, she had no favorites. And that's charming.
That is.
And she was so encouraging to every one of her kids and all her grandchildren. She was a very excellent person.
So when you,
I'm not like that.
amongst your siblings, were you sort of always the way that you are in terms of being that so-called perfectionist, which I think is actually something to be very proud of as you are?
This perfection thing, people make fun of me. That when I first started out, the perfectly perfect that I said 1,000 times a day was maligned. People did not like that I said perfectly perfect. One of my nephews said, the program that you had on today, you said it 21 times. And I said, well, I'm sorry, but if I'm a teacher has to be as perfect as possible, because otherwise, what are you teaching? You're not teaching the best knowledge. So being a perfectionist is not so bad. I think people have understood that now.
Mm-hmm. You recently were in Dubai. It's your first branded retail store ever, right?
Yeah, my first. Well, that's not really true, because when I was newly married in Westport, Connecticut, I did have a store called the Market Basket. And that was a freestanding little cottage on the Post Road in Westport, where I sold baked goods, sort of like a co-op for all my friends' delicious homemade stuff. Mm-hmm. So that was my first store. Now, many years later, like 50-something years later, I now have 3 freestanding stores. And actually, they're not freestanding because they're in a mall. In Dubai, there's like 50 malls in the city.
And they're very luxurious.
They're so luxurious and so beautiful. The malls have many places to eat and gather and walk through and roomy. But my stores are pretty, and they're very busy, and it's all for Martha Home Goods. It's called Martha Stewart Home.
And you'll be expanding.
I hope so. Yeah,
right,
I think
Kuwait,
the next ones
some other
are in
countries?
Abu Dhabi, and then in Saudi Arabia, and it's interesting over there. Very interesting. It seems to be. It seems to be very friendly to foreigners. There are many different ethnic groups living in a place like Dubai.
Right.
And everybody, it was just charming over there. I'd been there before, but this time with a store and with meeting all the ladies of Dubai, it was very interesting to see how they live. how enthusiastic they are about homemaking, how they really do cook, they really do entertain, they really do live kind of a little bit on the lavish side.
Yeah.
And it was very nice.
Their lavish is their everyday.
Yes.
Where have you not traveled yet that you want to go? You've been everywhere, you've done everything.
Oh, I've traveled all over the world, and especially with my grandchildren. I have 2 grandkids who are 13 and 14, and they have been to all 7 continents.
Wow.
And they have been to many, many remote places. But they and I, we try to think of where we want to go. The boy wants to go to Scandinavia now. He really wants to explore the Scandinavian countries. He thinks they'll be interesting. And the girl, she'll go anywhere. She's interested in traveling.
Right.
But I want to go to Mongolia. I haven't been to Mongolia yet.
Have you been to Korea?
Yes. I love
I know
Korea.
they love you there.
No, I love Korea. I love snail mucin facials.
Yeah, that's right.
They put snail mucin on you. Ugh, it's so good.
I have that. I have one of those like masks.
The gold mask?
Yeah.
The gold mask? Oh, it's so
more.
good. It's so good. Korean skincare is one of the things that we studied to do bioscience, because you are very advanced in skincare.
Now, 2022 does seem like, of many years, kind of a big year for you. You launched your CBD line, you launched your podcast, and that is that the same year that you and Snoop kind of collabed on the potluck dinner show?
That was, I think, even earlier than that. But I don't count by years.
Yeah.
If I had to, if I counted by
your website.
I'm writing an autobiography right now, and I have a man called Kevin O'Leary, who is, I call him my chronologist, and he's going through all my archives and putting everything in year by year by year. So, because I can't tell you if it was 2000. I can't tell you when I established my company. I can't tell you the years. I forget that stuff. But he's putting it all in order so I can write a sensible book.
It seems like you're always sort of on the cutting edge, though, of collaborating with whoever is sort of striking you at that moment. How do you know who you want to team up with?
Well, I had a television show, a daily show called The Martha Show, and on CBS, and then it went to NBC, and I liked rap music, so that's when I tried to get Eminem to come on my show. He refused. So then I settled for Snoop.
Settled, hilarious.
I settled for Snoop, who I just adored. And then I had Puff Daddy on, and I had Usher on, and then I did some commercials with Usher, and I got to really understand rap and hip hop and all of that stuff. And so that changed my demographic, and because a white woman like me, older, she could just be considered just but if you hook up with somebody like Snoop Dogg, you get his demographic,
right.
He gets your demographic, and it's like explosion. It's so good, and it was not planned. It just was a natural thing, and then to roast a Justin Bieber who's 21 years old. And the reason they asked me to do that silly roast was because I had met him when he was younger, like maybe 17, with his mom in the backstage of David Letterman, and he was a cute kid, he's becoming a superstar. And I talked to him, and I talked to his mom, and they were kind of like ordinary. They were like kids I knew, and some kid. And then when they asked me to roast him, I accepted. Everyone around me said, "Don't do it."
And you gladly, you were the star.
I flew out to California. My family was going down to a Caribbean island for Christmas, and I said, I'm going to go. I'm taking a detour. I'm going to go do this roast. Then I'll meet you down there. So it was the right thing to do, because that also is, if you have a chance to do that kind of thing with your brand, to cause not a controversy exactly, but a deep interest in what the heck is she doing. And I asked my daughter, should I do this roast? And she said, yeah, do it. But she said, watch some roasts. They're really, really rough. I had no idea how rough
they got
it was.
you.
Oh, they got me, but I got them.
But you got them bigger.
And I worked on my script with Susan Magrino, my publicist. The two of us spent like a week writing that nasty script, and it paid off.
Amazing.
And it paid off. That the funniest part of the whole thing was I sat next to Snoop for 7 hours of rehearsal, And you know what Snoop has in his fingers the whole time? Enveloped in this smoke all day long. So I was just as high as Snoop was.
I was gonna say.
And that made it so much easier.
Right. You can't not smell that and take it in. So what does he like of yours that you cook in particular?
Who?
Snoop.
Oh.
Does he like kind of, jazz things up a little, greenery here and there?
Oh, well, he cooked the ordinary brownies. He has a cookbook on the bestseller list. Do you know that?
I didn't.
Oh, I wrote the foreword. It's a very good cookbook. He puts cornflakes in his fried chicken batter.
Right.
And, he does stuff like that I would never do, but it's actually very tasty. He likes tasty food, but he is very fussy. He will not touch an oyster. He will not touch caviar.
I saw that.
He will not do this. He will not do that. And he travels with a lady who cooks his food for him, in his hotel room because he won't eat anything.
Mm-hmm. Very picky.
Yeah, very.
But
picky.
he loves yours. Obviously, he loves your food.
Well, he's only eaten my food a couple times. I mean, it's like I don't sit at home and cook for him.
Right.
But
who have you not cooked for that you would love to break bread with? I mean, it's kind of, there are probably very few souls out there.
There's some people in the White House that I would like to cook for.
Maybe add a little something extra. That'd be quite something. I can imagine.
That's the only political statement I will make today.
Would be for, potentially enlivening their spirits and their moods, right? If you cook something. You add a little something to...
You're such a Pollyanna. You don't know what I'm talking about.
If you add a little something to their, their baked goods, perhaps they'd chill out a little bit.
I doubt it.
Let's talk about mentorship and kind of how important that has been. I'm sure that you play that role for many people tangentially without you even knowing it. And you must have had some amazing mentors.
Well, teachers should be mentors, if you can possibly. My grandson Truman, who's 13, he recently came to me and he said, my friend Nikki takes pictures of birds, and he said, and do you think you could put them on your Instagram? And I said, of course. And I love this kid, Nikki. He's a charming, very intelligent 13-year-old, and he does take really good pictures. So I told him, I texted him, I said that we would like to do a blog, and he at the time he had like 200 followers on Instagram, Nikki Birding, I think it's called, and they're lovely. He travels all over. His parents take him all over the world to photograph birds.
Right.
And so, and he visited us in Maine, and he took pictures of the hummingbirds that were on my terrace, and so he put together, it took him a while because he had so much homework, he said. He couldn't get the blog done in time for a deadline, but I told him about deadlines. And finally he got it all written, and the captions were written well. And we posted it, and he's already gotten a few hundred more followers, and I'm sure he's excited about it.
Yeah.
And he wants to do another one. So that's good. I mean, that's the way that kind of encouragement in this day and age, which is so hard to find things that this kid could probably be, just sitting at home looking at his telephone all day long. But he is out there taking pictures of birds, traveling, understanding them, knowing their names, identifying them. It's wonderful. And he might turn out to be a really fine naturalist at some point.
And I know that's something very important to you.
And my grandson was happy that I followed through. He said, just make sure you follow through. That's what the kid said.
He's learned some good lessons for sure. I know that's something really important to you is, nature and your pets and all the many animals that you have. What's the latest in terms of how big is your farm of animals now?
Oh my gosh, I have so many animals. I recently, this year, all my cats had passed away, and I love cats. So I adopted one down in New Orleans at the Super Bowl. I came home on the Pepsi plane with the cutest little cat. And then I went to, we have a fabulous Rock and Rescue, it's called, adoption service in Bedford. And I've gotten 3 more cats. So I now have 4 amazing cats. The 3 other ones are all street cats from Dubai. No, from Qatar, from Doha.
So you brought them over?
No. Some lady brings them over.
Oh, I see.
She brings 20 cats at a time from Qatar, and so I got 3 gorgeous cats. So now I have 4 gorgeous cats who are meowing around the house. They do not get along with the dogs. I have 4 dogs, and 1 dog just had a baby. So her name is Luna, the mother. She's a Frenchie. And she had only 1 baby, but it started out as a tiny little thing, so we called her Half Moon. And now she's so fat that her name has been changed to Full Moon. So Luna now has Full Moon. And so I have 5 dogs now, and I have hundreds of chickens and peacocks and geese from all over the world, and 7 Frisian horses. I live in a menagerie.
Yeah. Do you still have your 2 donkeys? Do you have?
Oh yes, I have. Oh yes, and I have 2 now. I had 5, but 3 of them passed away. But the 2 are named Jude and Truman. Those are my grandchildren because I asked them to name them and they didn't, so I named them Jude and Truman.
Amazing.
And they're very cute, Sicilian donkeys. So, I live with a lot of animals, and I think that they bring me a tremendous amount of joy. And with it being able to commute to New York, to my job, and then still live on a farm.
Right.
It's so.
And you're still driving to New York every day?
Oh yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah, I have to go to New York after this.
Amazing. I'm going to go with you.
You want to come?
So we're kind of running out of time. I do want to do sort of a little lightning around with you.
Of course.
And I'm sure that people would love to know these things. You climbed Mount Kilimanjaro, by the way.
I did.
And I read that you were making soups and cooking for everyone.
Oh well, going along as you grow in your business and your business grows alongside of you. It's good to take a break. And it's good to go to places that sort of test you in different ways.
Taking a break by climbing Mount Kilimanjaro is quite a break. I don't know if that's a break.
Well, it's an interesting break because I had never climbed a giant mountain, a 20,000-foot mountain before. I didn't know what to expect. I read about it. And I went with 4 other women. One of them is a famous mountaineer, Sandy Pittman. Did you ever hear of Sandy? She climbed all the top peaks in the world. And she got in a lot of trouble. Into Thin Air is about her.
Oh, right,
that
okay.
movie. Yeah. But she survived a disastrous trip to the top of Everest. And I was signed up to do that Everest trip too.
Wow.
But I was going public with my company, and the banker said, "You're not going to Everest." And luckily, that was avoided because that was a tragic trip. Many people died. Many avalanches and freezing and all kinds of stuff. Anyway, but climbing up Kilimanjaro, I prepared by going on the treadmill. I put it on 10, and I stayed on an hour a day for like a month, and I thought that would be enough. That is not enough.
10 incline, yeah.
But I made it to the top, and my at the very top, the last descent, you get up at 3 o'clock in the morning to get to the top of Kilimanjaro, and there's snow. It's snowing. And it's cold, and the sun is rising over Africa, and my guide said he was bleeding from his nose and from his ears and from his eyes. He had altitude sickness,
right?
And he was trying to take care of our whole group, and he got sick. And he said, "We have to go down." I said, "I'm not going down after coming all the way up here." So the rest of my team was in front of me, like I don't know, 1,000 feet or something in front of me. So I continued on my own all the way to the top.
Wow.
And it was so beautiful up there. But then when we got to the bottom, when we finally descended, which is much easier than climbing up, all the guides and the porters, they're porters that go up barefoot, they rushed off, they disappeared. And I thought, God, how are we going to thank them? And all of a sudden, they all reappeared, all bathed and in suits and ties.
Wow, they got perfect for you. They wanted to look
and they
proper.
Said that they had a confession to make. And we said, well, what's the confession? They said, when you ladies appeared, we thought we took a bet, and all of us bet that you wouldn't make it.
Wow.
And they said, we apologize. And so we still gave them their tips, but they did not deserve the tips. But it was so interesting that they were predisposed not to think that we could make it, and we weren't trying to make it. We made it. You know,
yeah.
It was.
You make it sound so easy.
We went to Africa to climb a mountain. You know, you make it. You do it.
I think we're out of time, but I have to ask
Okay.
one last quick little
could talk forever.
question. If you could only eat one thing for a month, just one meal, what would it be?
I think it would probably be, I make a very good frittata,
Okay.
and the frittata would have in it many, many different kinds of vegetables. So you can cheat on those questions. That's a silly question. 'Cause I could make that frittata so delicious that you could live on it for a month. Really.
Yeah. And then some.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Martha. Thank you so much.
Thank you.